Welcome back. We are here with the founder of and the creator of Ginger Juice. He is my good friend and my college roommate, Reuben Canada. Such a pleasure to have you, my friend. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So excited to have you. So I have to ask you, very first thing, man. When we got out of school, I remember you were focused on getting the JD, which you did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, eventually.
And so tell me a little bit about that. How did you go from law to what you're doing now?
From law to La Land.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what happened actually. You know, from A to B. There was even going into college, and I think everybody's got challenges that they grew up with, but the challenges that I had, who I am is somebody that will walk that line, that super risky line, but you know, you want to play it safe just because, you know, they actually have shown losing hurts twice as much as winning feels good.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was always looking for ways to hedge. So I was like, you know,
Do
get
the
a
same
good
thing.
job, electrical engineering. That's how you get a good
Yeah.
job, right? And then, okay, want to make a little bit more money, get that retirement, like the guys in the 401k commercials with the little boat or whatever, you know, cruise off in the sunset, you know, kind of like keeping it nice and even and cool. And, you know, you can only lie to yourself for so long. You know, like that feeling of,
I love that.
you know, I want to actually play it safe, but if that's not your nature, you know, it's almost like, what is it, the ugly duckling, where you're doing your best to fit in because you don't lose fitting in. But, you know, once you admit it, that's one of those powerful choices that changes everything.
Wow.
What was the moment that changed everything for you when you admitted it?
Well, that was actually, that was the beginning of the end for my legal career, actually. It was that moment. I was working as an intellectual property lawyer at the top firm in Pennsylvania for intellectual property. Had a view of the art museum across the river from my office. It was beautiful. Nicest people to work with. Everybody hated, you know. Yeah, but I mean, I was like, really? You guys are nice. Like, you know, nobody comes in my office like demanding stuff, and you know, it's intellectual work, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I knew literally the first day I sat down that this was coming to an end. And you know, it was at that point, what I'd done up until then is said, I'm gonna find a job that's gonna fulfill me. So almost like, there was this old magazine back when I was a kid called Soldier of Fortune. And so this magazine, I would, like, you could read through it, and the want ads were for like ex-military mercenaries, like, you know, go have an adventure in Somalia or something. You're like, huh. So I would look at job posts like that. So whatever human resource officer made the best pitch for a job to make it exactly adventurous, I was like, I want to do that. And what I found is I keep doing the same thing. I'm finding no fulfillment in this because we're talking about an external process instead of looking inside. And when I was at that point where I was like, there's nothing else for me to do. I've actually gotten to the top of the food chain when it comes to those sort of positions. So I'm going to have to do things differently. So what I'm going to do is every single time I have a thought of any interest, I'm going to follow that to the exact termination point. And if this is something that I find that I don't know where it ends, I'll keep going. And if I can see in any that I'm not satisfied with, I'll stop it and just be open-minded.
Wow.
And you know, it was interesting, making Ginger, it was after I'd done, I think it was like a 3-month cleanse, and it was going to Kundalini yoga for like,
yeah.
was at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I did
right?
mine sadhana yesterday.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, so I'm doing all that, and then I was like, you know, I'm like, oh, this is my path or whatever, and then I realized that it wasn't, it was another component of me that was being expressed, and I was like, but the bottom line is you're gonna have to be happy with this little life that you decide to make for yourself and not keep trying to transplant your life into something else, you know, like I'm gonna do this now, I'm gonna be this.
So
It's like,
rumor has it that some of the lawyers back in Philadelphia, yeah, you got out. They're
Right.
watching you on
escaped
social
the
media.
prison.
Like,
yeah, you know, I still get emails every now and then, and it's like, you know, there's a legend of this guy that was an attorney in these golden handcuffs
Right.
that everybody is so concerned about keeping. He got loose, and it was, you know, it was a huge choice of saying like, you know, I don't know where this is going to end. I don't know how I'm going to get to wherever I need to go, but this is what I'm here to do, because it wasn't like I was planning on doing this. I did not want to make a beverage company. That was not in the plans at all.
That was not in the Soldier Fortune magazine.
It wasn't, no, totally. And
Not a
so then
listing.
what happened? So I read on your About page, like it's really fascinating, the actual story of how the drink actually came about, which was so authentic. You read people's bios and it's like, oh, featured in and all this crap. And I'm like, I actually read the whole page because I was like, it's a cool story. So tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, so I was it had actually, the first inspiration for ginger was, it started with a girl. You know, there was a...
It usually does.
Any good story, it's not a good story unless you actually have some real motivation there.
So she was coming over to your place.
He was coming over to my place, yeah. Yeah, she was coming over to my place. So, you know, I left work early and I'm like, you know, well, this is my first day back having a cocktail because I've been doing this cleanse for like 3 months. So I was like, what am I gonna mix with it? And I had this idea, I was like, I'm gonna make the ultimate last word on cocktail mixers. And I was like, that's
no
the
pressure.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yes, I started off with fresh ginger, and I was like, ginger simple syrup would be great, and it wasn't. And I was like, but you know what would be good if I added some lemon and some mint. And then I did that with like fresh ginger, and I was like, ooh, this is really good. And then I went back to this little grocer and got more ginger, and I'm like now buying ginger by the pounds or whatever.
Right.
So eventually I added cayenne pepper, and it was this drink that, it was the hottest summer in Philadelphia in a while. And I had like this little apartment that had terrible AC. So what I found is like this drink, I loved it so much that I would drink it outside of cocktails, and like having it cold is just the most refreshing, cooling sort of experience. And then in the wintertime, if I warmed it up, I had a mile walk to, you know, to my job, and it was like along the river. So it was like freezing cold, and I found that the cayenne pepper and the ginger, they're vasodilators. So they actually warm you from the inside, like you have this warm glow.
They motivate you from the inside out.
Wow.
So how long was it before when you started making the drink to when you were like, actually I have something here, this could actually be a product?
So it was created in July of 2009, and it went into the first store, and I believe, let me think this one through, I think it was like November of 2010. And then it got serious. I'm sorry, no, it was November of 2009. And then I made my rounds to the local stores in the area, like, you know, local little grocers or whatever for 2010. And then we found a small food incubator, and it went into Whole Foods in 2011.
Wow.
So that's when things really started.
And
to
then,
pick up.
and then you won the Outstanding Cold Beverage Award.
Sophie
Yeah,
Well, we
yeah,
went
Sophie
next
Award.
level.
Yeah, and then we got into Kroger, which is a national chain. Ralph's is one of their stores, and then they invited me to this launch with Dr. Oz and Dr. Stork, and then we got on the Doctor's TV show, and they just raved about it, loved it, had the audience try it, told people about the ingredients. And from there was ABC News, Fox News, USA Today. They did a feature for us. And then there was a show called the West Texas Investors Club, which is like Duck Dynasty meets Shark Tank. So,
Wow.
Yeah, on an episode, and they're
It's a
like,
mashup.
it was just it was a crazy show. But what I found is that in each phase, once I actually got done with those things that were blocking me, that's when the opportunities open themselves up to actually take to the next level. So it's okay to be at a plateau, because that's a time to, you know, gather your strength, husband your resources, make sure that you've shorn up all of your support so that you can actually go higher. So you're expanding your foundation all
What
the
have you
time.
learned about yourself in building this business?
That's a good question. I think one thing that I have learned is that the things that I wanted out of life, that I inherently wanted, which was, you know, to have healthy engagement with the world and with other people on an emotional, psychological, and spiritual level, is it wasn't going to be found in comfort zones and complacency. So it's only when I actually do step out of those comfort zones and actually face the challenges that I've actually set the board up for, just being born, that I actually start to find that elevation, so that I actually am experiencing, because we all had this idea, this ideal of what how we're looking to show up and how we want to engage with life. And it's there. It's not, you know, some sort of grandiose fantasy, but it's the work of actually being okay with being uncomfortable, that you start to exercise those muscles that you want, that you know are there and that are going to give you. And
It's so powerful because, so my dad loves Reuben. Of course he loves Reuben. Who doesn't love Reuben? Everybody loves Reuben, right? So my dad loves Reuben. And it's funny because one of my dad's favorite expressions, and he was in the Navy, is ships are safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Right?
yeah, wow.
And you just nailed it, Reuben. That's exactly, and that's one of the things that I love most about you, is that even when you thought you were playing safe, you were still stepping up way outside my comfort zone, way outside my comfort zone. I was thinking, man, Reuben's really doing things that I wish I was doing or I should be doing. And I really want to thank you for that, and I want to thank you for continuing to push that envelope.
I appreciate that, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So, well, a couple things. One, I want to try the drink.
Okay.
Second, I want to say after when we do take a break, I want to come back. I want to actually hear some like personal stories.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a separate segment. It's a totally separate show.
But before that, I just want to say that, we're on the topic of perfectionism.
Yeah.
And someone out there is looking in and they're going, okay, there's these, good-looking guys here. This guy's made his drinks. He's, whatever. What would you say for them out there to not get too caught up in them, in comparing themselves to you, someone who's already kind of made it? That what can they do?
Oh, I think those sort of moments, I think it's not so much the advice that I would give, but something that I think everybody can relate to. So they're looking at this person, but also understanding that he has some of the same issues even now. And I actually wrote this down yesterday, and it was to the effect that in any situation, I am complete unto myself. Even when I'm feeling like there's some lacking in me, I have to remember that I have everything I need to be okay.
Yeah.
And then I realized something that was pretty powerful, which was this. I actually wrote it down just so I won't get this wrong.
Aw.
Yeah, it was actually a conversation I was having, and I thought of this.
I love that. Rob always has like such a very grounded, thought-provoking group of people around him, and it's like
It helps.
yeah, everybody's like, oh, I've written this down. I wrote a book. Everybody he brings in, it's like, wow. What?
Yeah. So what I wrote down was questions you ask are as much you as the answers you give. So, how that relates to perfectionism is when you are looking at something or a situation and you're asking how you relate to it. This isn't something outside of you. This is something for you to look in, because that answer that you give is just as much you as it is the question. So I always tell people, because they're like, oh, this isn't right, and this isn't right, and I'm like, no, it is. And you know how it is? Because if it was wrong, or if something was really wrong with you, you'd be dead right now. That's how you know. It may not be a place that you want to be, but it's a place that you need to be right now. And there's a couple of different ways to look at it. Out of something ugly, something really beautiful comes. Until you actually go into that sadness, depression, pain, fear, or anger, you're not going to get to that joy, passion, and love.
I'll
But
drink
you
to
have to
that,
go through
right?
it.
I love
Yeah.
that. It's like
Wow.
prayer, like the answer to prayer is in the prayer.
Yeah,
right?
it's Byron Katie's one of my favorite authors, and we had Alyssa on just last week. And one of the things that Alyssa said, I thought was so powerful, is essentially that the way you know you need something is you have it. The way you know you do not need it is you
You
do
don't
not
have it.
Right.
Yeah, you obviously don't
You'd
need
be
it.
dead.
Right. Yes,
You're
exactly.
alive, so apparently
Yeah.
you don't need it right this moment.
So true.
Right? So it's a
so
good thing to
true.
remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to take a little break. When we come back, I'm dying to. I love the cayenne thing, so I want to try
Okay,
this
you
whole
already
thing.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll admit that. It's so good.
Okay, so we'll be right back, you guys. Stay tuned.
We're live on Good Morning LaLa Land with the creator Canada, Reuben of Jinja. We're talking about motivation and perfection today, but you've perfected a cocktail.
Right?
Yeah, this is I call this motivation in a bottle. It's like it's the embodiment of me. If you could actually ask that question, who would you be if you were a beverage? Yeah, like all the parts of my personality are in there, A little bit spicy, a little bit sweet, a little bit surprising, energizing. So I guess I should
Taking a
tell
page
people.
out of Jesus' book.
Always look for
Right?
good role
Like
models,
communion,
right? So just to run down the ingredients, the original version has fresh ginger, cayenne pepper, lemon, green tea, mint, and cane sugar. The dragon fruit version, which we'll try a little bit later, has got all those ingredients plus dragon fruit and passion fruit. So these are the first two flavors, so I would love for you guys to give
Let's
it a try.
try it.
So what are some of the health benefits of this? Because not only does it taste good, it's doing good.
Yes, yeah. So some of the health benefits, actually, I think it's better to talk about. Let's get reactions first. Let's see about the health benefits.
I'm
You
not
know I
gonna
love
lie.
it.
Like this is not. I'm not trying to like fluff it up is really, really good.
And it's got like really like the perfect amount of kick is what I love about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unexpected. It's so smooth,
so
refreshing.
And then a little sparkle, like, oh.
And you said it was an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah. So so I've been getting. So we have a comment section on the website, and we've got probably a couple of thousand comments. And what I've noticed is that people are using it for their acid reflux. They're using it for fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, all of these inflammatory sort of issues that people usually take over-the-counter drugs like ibuprofen for. But there's no biological free lunch, so. This sort of stuff to get it processed through your organs is going to have an effect. But this is an anti-inflammatory, and they found that ginger is just as effective as Motrin for anti-inflammation.
Right.
So you got people using it for arthritis, and in some ways I couldn't really empathize because I don't have any sort of real physical challenges. But now I'm starting to get this feedback that's very consistent and starting to see that thread of this is why you had to do this, because this wasn't going to get done. And if you look on the shelves, which you have, it's not the same. Some people have a ginger flavor, but they don't have real ginger in it that's giving those benefits.
And it suppresses your appetite, right?
Yeah, cayenne pepper.
Cayenne? Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's this one?
So this is the dragon fruit 4X concentrate. So,
Jeez, that's a name.
Yeah, well, actually, you can add a
4X
little sip. This is 4X concentrate. We can add a little bit more.
So we add.
Yeah, but
okay.
but take a little sip first because it's got. You'll actually see, the real power of it.
It's so good.
So now we'll try it with some club soda, and you'll actually see how.
So this
light
is
and
what you
refreshing it is.
actually put, like, if you do drink, you could put. This is what you said. You
Yeah,
put
this is
alcohol?
for cocktails because it's all flavor.
When Reuben
no
has
water
the
weight.
ladies over. You're spiking this with a little vodka.
Okay, so we don't have that much more time, and I'm sure the viewers are like, come on, let's get to the real stuff.
Yeah, right,
so you guys went to college together.
Yeah.
Let's hear about that. How many years were you roommates?
Oh, just one.
Yeah. Okay, so we were roommates for one.
That's really good.
Let's see. What was a good story? It was a good story.
Oh man, well I had a basketball recruit once.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot that. So
What
Bob is that okay?
So good.
I don't know if anybody knows, but Bob is a phenomenal basketball player, and I can still he says he's in shape, so he's still.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know. That's how you know.
Yeah,
It's great.
that's what I like.
great.
That little story.
That's how you know we go
Are
back.
you're Bob?
Well, that's how we. So as a kid, yes.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was Bobby.
Yeah, he grew up in Pennsylvania.
Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I
Bobby
moved to
Mack.
Miami, and all my friends, particularly my Spanish-speaking friends, were like, "Bob, Robert, how does that? It doesn't really connect, really." And it's true. It's kind of. So they were like,
He's
"Oh,
outgrown
Rob."
that,
I was like,
yeah.
But do you
Rob.
still call him Bobby?
No. I call him Rob now,
Oh.
just because it is what it
Okay,
is.
so what? You got.
Oh, okay, wait, yes, I'm not about this. Yes, this is crazy. Oh, okay, wait. Let me set it up.
Yeah,
Let me set it up.
yeah.
Okay, so the story was, we got this recruit. I said, look, I'm gonna go stay with my girlfriend. I give the kid, a blanket. Nice kid. He's a little bit on the tall side. Recruited for basketball, and I leave, and then wind the clock 12 hours. I'm walking on campus, and I just see Bob. And he has this look of like, he looks like he's been through something. Like, it looks like if he had a blanket, it would have been around his shoulders. Like, this was a rough, and he wants to tell me, and he's like, oh, and comes and he hugs me, and I'm like, Bob, because, okay, so then he relates to me this story. Before I actually go into the room,
What happened?
Oh, this
I
poor
left
kid.
at 8 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Okay. But before I left, okay, so he goes out to a fraternity party, and he comes back.
The recruit.
Yeah, the recruit.
Not me.
We have a trundle bed in there, right? I could see, I was like, okay, he looks a little bit winded and a little bit, inebriated. All right, you got to sleep this off, son. So get him one of my blankets, and I leave. That's 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And then the next morning.
So that night, right? Exactly. So this night, they were like, hey, we get this recruit. I was a little reluctant because I had all these exams to study for and finals to do, okay? So the guys on the team were like, well, just bring him down to the fraternity house and hang out with us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, let's be careful with him. He's young and, he's impressionable in this whole thing, right? I'm like super, neurotic kind of kid. So I drop him off.
Responsible.
Yeah. Yes. So I dropped the kid off. I go to the computer lab because that's how long ago it was. It was computer lab, so everybody didn't have their own computers. At least I didn't. And I check back in. It was late. I check back in, come into the room. Kid's knocked out. Okay, he's knocked out. He's sleeping. Okay, about 2:30, 3 a.m. I wake up, and this kid is standing on the bed. Okay, he's standing on the bed. And he's not just standing on the bed. He really has to go to the bathroom really, really bad. And he's just everywhere. So everywhere. All on Reuben's Oh,
At least it was on Reuben.
Oh,
Exactly.
You're right.
Was it yours?
Poor kid. I felt so bad for him. Yeah, his
Oh.
name will forever go down.
Oh, but it didn't stop there.
It didn't stop there. There was so much more.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
yeah.
But you know what? We'll give them the
Wait, I'm so
highlights. So like the
He went to
highlights
the
are.
bathroom all over the
But
entire.
because he just
'Cause he
happened
was
to, or
just-
because he took
No,
something
he
to the
was
party?
no,
or
no, no.
like-
He was he had alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was that
It
serious.
was so sad. Yeah.
I mean, but
no.
yeah, it happened so fast. Like he was only gone for maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now, the way, like the highlights of the story are, the people from the 911, they came to the room
the whole thing.
and they actually opened the door and they said, "We're not going in there.
Yeah.
We're not going in there." And
Poor
poor
kid.
Bob had to take this guy
Bob.
and put him into the shower
Yeah,
and
it was-
clean him up. Like he was a literal
Yeah,
mess.
this kid was, yeah. Oh my God. And thank God to the RA to this day. The RA was so helpful. I remember saying
Yeah, and I remember like you
Wow.
actually never, there was never ever a point in that I heard or even experienced any sort of resentment or anger from you about the whole
No.
situation.
Well, I was much more
So-
concerned about Ruben's comforter. Everything was ruined. Everything Ruben Owen in the room.
He was like,
disinfected.
and I'm like, hey, what's the problem? We'll put a baking soda here. We'll put a fan here.
He was
no
so cool
problem,
about it.
bro.
He was so cool about it.
Because I felt terrible,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was like,
Yeah.
what? Because like, and then he told me, I was like, he has gone through so much tonight.
Oh, I wanted to hide for weeks after that. I wanted to hide for weeks. But one thing I will say, for weeks, I wanted to hide. But I will say that, and this is just a testament to his character, Reuben has always been such a forgiving and such a compassionate person. I mean, it's unbelievable for someone who's that compassionate and that forgiving to also be so meaningfully ambitious.
Wow.
Right? Because you don't often get those traits in the same person.
So true. Wow.
Just have to thank you for that.
So
Reuben.
where can people
appreciate
find
it.
you? Because we're running, we're
Then
got the
you
music
mean like
started.
on social media?
Yes.
Wherever, yeah.
Online.
Okay, online, drinkginger.com. That is the website. If you go there, I gave a special discount to all of your fans.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what was it? I put the discount, I think it was Good Morning LaLa. That might have been it. You know what? I'll make sure you guys get the discount. Also on Facebook, Drink Ginger is a private group. Go there because you'll actually get all the content and all the user comments so that you can decide for yourself
Cool.
based
So
on other
cool.
people's experiences
So
instead of
Oh,
just mine.
thank you so much
So
for being here
appreciate it.
today.
My
Thumbs
pleasure.
up a lifestyle, thumbs up wellness,
Yes.
thumbs up, a great inspirational story. So thanks so much for all your work.
My
so cool
pleasure.
to meet
Yes.
you and so awesome that you guys
Come back
get together.
tomorrow for #Transformation Tuesday. We've got some very special guests, including Alyssa Goodman. She's going to fill me in on the soup cleanse that I'm doing. We're streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now on Twitter. It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.
Have a great day, you guys.